170?
He's not like some guy who have like crazy power, like, and he not so big in this division, like for example, Bilal, he have like he have like power, like Kamaru Usman, this guy has like good power, but I don't think like Jack have some more than me.
Mhm. So I'm intrigued about that fight. I don't think, because I feel like some people are kind of, initially when that fight was being announced, people were like, "Oh, this Islam's gonna do this. Islam's gonna take care of him," or JDM's too big. I think now we're starting to understand that that fight's gonna be a lot closer than we think.
Islam Makhachev has finally spoken out prior to his gargantuan championship battle with JDM. The Dagestani fighter began by showing respect to his opponent, giving credit where it is due to his clean striking and fearless nature within the octagon. He stated that JDM is a dangerous fighter who deserves all the respect, but also made it a point that respect does not equal fear. Makhachev was all assuredness, intensity, and preparedness to remind everyone why he's among the greatest fighters on the planet.
Honestly, yeah, I watch all his fight. He's good. Striking is good. His boxing is very good, and his wrestling not so good, but he good in the ground. He know how to defend, how to escape, how to get up. He have good skills in the ground also. But I saw his wrestling just not good, but he know how to defend. And like he's striking really good. That's why he's one of the best in the world, and he's the world champion right now.
Islam conceded that it has been more difficult to climb the weight class than most would imagine. He clarified that he's only at present at around 60% of how good he was once as a lightweight, but he and his people are busy trying to get to that ideal 100% again. The champion stated that he has been gaining strength, fine-tuning his timing and enhancing his conditioning. He assured that once he fully gets acclimated, the public will witness a tougher and more deadly version of him.
As I could be, like, because of the weight cut, I actually am sort of fighting at a lesser percent of myself. Did you ever feel that way?
Yeah, honestly, I feel that. Like, no one from the hard, like who cut like 10 kg, like more than 10 kg, they never recover like 100%. I still feeling I recover for the fight like maybe 70-60%. Because it's so hard to recover by 30 hours. And now I'm like very excited to see how I'm gonna feel in the cage.
Nevertheless, Makhachev didn't undermine his own confidence. He explained that although JDM has greater experience at this weight, his own strength has risen tenfold. Islam asserted confidently that his punches now pack more punch than ever before. He thinks this added power may prove to be a game changer, perhaps the secret to knocking out JDM. With enhanced striking and world-class grappling combined, Islam declared he's ready for every situation in the cage.
He's not like some guy who have like crazy power, like, and he not so big in this division, like for example, Bilal, he have like power, like Kamaru Usman, this guy has like good power, but I don't think like Jack have some more than me.
The Dagestani champion also noted that his grappling is still a tremendous threat. He confidently declared that his grappling is on a totally different platform than JDM's, and if the fight goes to the mat, it'll be over quick. Makhachev forecasted that after taking control, a submission or choke will come naturally. He sounded like he's sure that he can control where the fight goes and that JDM will not be able to shake him off once he has his hands on him.
What has been Khabib's biggest message to you during this camp?
It's not secret. He told me like take him down, try to take him down and make him tired there, and I think I can finish him in the ground. I can choke him, do some like armbar something, because I feel I saw his skills in the ground. He good, but I have something more.
That caught Charles Oliveira's attention, and he went ahead and warned JDM against allowing Islam to take him down. Oliveira remarked that Makhachev's top control and clinch are a lot better than the rest of the guys in the UFC currently. The retired lightweight champion explained that the moment Islam gets a takedown, very few have ever returned. He referred to Islam's wrestling as suffocating and declared that JDM's best chance is to keep the bout standing where his own striking can flourish.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Madalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
Belal Muhammad seconded that fully. He explained that if Islam is granted one clean takedown, the bout could be over. Belal said Makhachev's pressure on the ground is relentless and his grappling IQ is that of a top-level fighter, one of the toughest to escape. He stated that this fight is very much Islam's wrestling style friendly. Belal said the recipe for victory here is easy to see. Close the distance, shoot in on JDM and pin him against the canvas until he cracks under the pressure.
I think Islam can finish him on the ground. You don't want it to be your first time in the cage feeling it. We saw it with DDP. If you never felt one of those Dagestani wrestlers, JDM, even in our fight, he makes mistakes on the ground. Islam and them, they have a different feel. They have a different type of grappling.
Kamaru Usman, though, was not able to write JDM off so quickly. The former welterweight title holder contended that this bout is closer than most suppose. Usman claimed JDM's size, strength, and erratic striking make him a legitimate issue for anyone, including Islam. Usman feels if JDM can stuff a few takedowns early, the bout is in his favor. Usman's opinion provided more fuel to the discussion, indicating this bout is far from one-sided.
Islam versus JDM in the MSG, how do you think it will play out?
It's a very, very intriguing fight. JDM is growing at a rapid pace, and we all know what Islam possesses, and we know how good Islam is. And so I'm intrigued about that fight. I don't think, because I feel like some people are kind of, initially when that fight was being announced, people were like, oh, this Islam's gonna do this, Islam's gonna take care of him, or JDM's too big. I think now we're starting to understand that that fight's gonna be a lot closer than we think.
Gilbert Burns concurred with Usman, having faced JDM in the octagon. Burns said that individuals don't realize how strong and intelligent JDM is until they face him. He elaborated that JDM's timing and poise are at an elite level, and that he's fully capable of defending his title. Burns said that Islam is awesome, but that JDM's striking and management of distance could be sufficient to outpoint him in the later rounds if he keeps his opponent from the ground game.
What did you think about the Islam vacating the belt and going up and immediately getting a shot at the welterweight bout? And what do you think about that? And how different is that fight going to play out than what we saw versus Belal?
That's going to be a great fight. Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's big. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know. I think he was a little, okay, if you're going up, we gotta, I don't know. But probably that was in the negotiation. And yeah, I like him moving up. Proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of crack the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating Islam, you know?
MMA Guru also lent his support to JDM. He stated JDM's unpredictable and varied fighting style is what he believes will give him the advantage over Islam. Guru feels JDM's creativity and ability to throw curveballs, kicks, knees, and tight combinations will keep Makhachev on his heels. He envisioned that if JDM can keep the fight on the feet, Islam won't know what hit him. In his opinion, JDM's pace and volume will exhaust the Dagestani grappler before the final horn sounds.
I really don't think Makhachev can back JDM up in order to get takedowns on him the way that he needs to. He's going to have to, like, really, like, savantly get the takedown into a back take, into something like that. I really don't see it. I think JDM can move forward against Islam Makhachev without much fear. You know, I don't see Makhachev catching him in a counter. So I got JDM. I haven't felt this confident about an underdog in a long time since JDM fought Belal Muhammad.
Conor McGregor, who was never afraid of speaking his mind, jumped into the fray and confidently predicted JDM would win. McGregor referred to it as a blowout for the champion, claiming Islam's pressure won't affect someone as explosive as JDM. The Notorious one even offered JDM some advice, advising him to take the center, be light on his feet, and counter Islam's entries with punishment. Conor thinks that once JDM gains control, it'll be easy sailing to another dominant win. And Gary gave a more even assessment. He did agree that JDM has the skill to win, but only if he controls the takedown attempts. Gary stated JDM's takedown defense has come a long way, but Islam's timing is world-class. He pointed out that one error against Islam's level alters everything. Gary believed that if JDM could make it to standing through the first 2 rounds, his pace and striking combinations might lead him to winning by decision.
On the feet, I think Jack wins it cleanly. I think he'll jab, switching stances. He'll have a bit more fluidity due to the fact that Islam's not going to be changing stances so regularly. So I think Jack can do it on the feet, but the question mark is, can he stop the takedown consistently over 5 rounds? Because Islam is world class at that.
Dustin Poirier echoed a similar view. If JDM is able to prevent the single leg takedowns, his chances take off. Poirier discussed that Islam's game is all about controlling the ground, but if JDM counters that, Islam becomes much more predictable. Dustin further added that JDM's power and movement make him dangerous from beginning to end, and he opined that this is not a fight Islam can just cruise through. It'll challenge every aspect of his skill set.
He's a big guy. I think he's going to fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think his lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class no problem. He could be champion there for sure.
How do you think he does against JDM?
I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
Luke Rockhold, meanwhile, favored Makhachev, but placed a critical pointer. He noted Islam's success depends on how effective he is at getting used to the new weight. If Islam can transition smoothly and keep the speed, according to Rockhold, he's sure to win. But if the increased weight brings him down, JDM might take advantage. To Luke, this bout hinges on Islam's ability to deal with the physical change in the spotlight of a title bout.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my 3 favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. JDM's he's fun to watch. So, I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM. He's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but, you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown. You know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
George Masvidal was not afraid to express his opinion. He simply stated this is a lopsided fight and that Islam will blow through JDM with ease. Masvidal stated that grappling difference is too great to overlook and that JDM will not be able to hang around once Islam begins stringing together his takedowns. He described it as an easy night for the Dagestani star and also forecasted that Islam was going to stroll out of the arena with gold wrapped around his waist yet again.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive. You know, I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Belal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops a dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
While all eyes remain on the bout, another gigantic matchup appears to be forming: Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones. Things got heated after Jones openly accepted Pereira's offer to fight at the White House. Fans lost their minds at the prospect of two of UFC's biggest stars going head-to-head on such a legendary stage. It's a fancy situation that seems closer to becoming a reality than ever before, and the MMA universe can't help but buzz about it. Chael Sonnen called it potentially the biggest fight in UFC history. He said seeing two fighters of that caliber go head-to-head at the White House would be a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Sonnen called it not just a fight, but an event that would change the sport forever. He believes this matchup would break every record the UFC has ever set. Chael's enthusiasm shows just how much this fight means to fans and fighters alike.
Pereira versus Jones is such a wildly unique fight. I cannot remember a time in UFC history where we had two stars to this degree that were willing and wanting to fight, that had the magnitude. Because Joe Rogan is not wrong. He is not wrong to say Jones versus Pereira could be the biggest fight in history. He's not wrong.
But Chael did not concur with Joe Rogan's offer to turn it into a BMF title bout. He stated that Jon Jones is not that kind of guy, claiming that the BMF belt symbolizes a different type of fighter, one constructed solely of grit and toughness, not legacy and titles. Sonnen stated Jones is too cerebral and refined for that kind of image.
BMF is a very unique thing, and we've yet to define it. Right, we've yet to define it, but we all do agree that we know a BMF when we see it. I can't put Jon there. I can't put Jon there. And boy, I could put Jon on a lot of lists. I could put him on the greatest light heavyweight ever. I could make an argument for the greatest heavyweight ever, and he's only been out there 9 minutes. I could make an argument for the greatest fighter of all time. In fact, you'd have a hard time not giving him all of those. But a BMF, that's a tough one.
Rather, Sonnen presented another suggestion. He proposed making a custom belt specifically for this fight, much like Floyd Mayweather did when he beat Conor McGregor. Sonnen indicated that this would make the fight historic without making it cheap, and a custom belt made specifically for Jones versus Pereira in the White House, that would make history in a way that no one could ever forget.
These two guys willing to go through the rest of their lives not having the accolades and decoration, but they would rather not wonder. And for me personally, that's not a belt. As a matter of fact, that's the opposite of a belt. Those two boys want to fight for a belt. They can both make 205 pounds. We can do it for a belt, no problem. It seems as though Alex Pereira wants the matchup so badly that he is willing to go by any standard they have to do. And I think that Pereira should get credit for that.
So what do you think? Will Islam Makhachev dominate JDM and solidify his greatness through divisions? Or will JDM hold his title and shock the world once again? And if Pereira versus Jones actually does go down at the White House, could it possibly be the biggest fight the UFC has ever had? Leave your predictions below, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep an eye out. These things are about to get totally wild in the MMA universe.